What will the future of your community look like? The same as it does now? Changed a little bit? Changed a lot? Will it be thriving or in terminal decline? And what part will you have in determining what that future is? I would like to talk to you about a regional sustainability project. I've been a regional small business owner for over 24 years. My family had, and still has, agribusiness operations in regional Queensland. I'm an author, speaker, and a small business advocate and mentor. I wrote a book for small business owners based on my experience as a regional business owner. I've also been involved in regional development for a very long time. I've had many positions in organisations to do with regional development and local content. So why am I sharing this project that I'm going to talk to you about today? You will note from my slides that they have a distinct Antarctic flavour. At the end of January this year, I fulfilled a 30-year dream to visit Antarctica. It was life-changing. Of course, I was prepared to be stunned and amazed by the beauty of the place. But what I wasn't prepared for was the ravages of climate change. That was really confronting. It's happening 3 times faster down there, and the effects are obvious. Penguins are making their nests in the wrong place, and then the chicks drown. While we were there, the continent recorded its highest ever temperature of 18.3 degrees. That's a photo of me sitting on the deck in a light t-shirt. That trip made the project that I'm reporting to you about today even more important to me, and I suggest to you as well. What I want to tell you about is the Clean Growth Choices project that we undertook in Central Queensland. Then I'll describe the process that we went through. And third, see the outcomes that I've seen from the project to date. As I said, the project was called Clean Growth Choices. And if you have a look at the website, you'll see this quote. "We live in a world of unprecedented change." Wow, did we get changed with this pandemic? Perhaps a little more change than we bargained for, and certainly on a much, much shorter timescale. The Queensland Government implemented the Communities in Transition program to prepare our state for a low-carbon future. Now, environmental collapse from climate change is still a massive challenge. COVID-19 hasn't made that go away. We were to ask ourselves, is our community prepared to take advantage of the opportunities of change, but also to manage the risks? Is our community resilient? Resilient communities are the ones that will collaborate and self-organise. They will make sure that their future is determined locally as part of the community, not waiting for the next big thing to be given to us from on high. As part of the Communities in Transition program, the state government funded the Clean Growth Choices Consortium, and you can see who the members are on this slide. The Clean Growth Choices Consortium helped a select number of regional Queensland communities to investigate and develop pathways to that more resilient future. Professor John Cole and Andrew Chamberlain from USQ, as well as reps from the other members, came to the regions and helped us map out a process to follow. The Regional Council took carriage of the process locally. Step 1 was to invite a large group of identified stakeholders to a forum. That first meeting was to calibrate by answering the sort of questions that you can see here. That first meeting, we also looked at some possible future scenarios for our region, and then looked at some broad pathways that we could consider to deal with those scenarios. Before the second meeting, I was engaged as a local facilitator, and throughout the process, I worked closely with the council team and also the volunteers who'd volunteered their time and knowledge. Before the second meeting, I burned some shoe leather and some telephone time to identify as many projects as I could that were happening in our area. These ranged from huge industrial projects through to innovative crops to be grown. I wanted to build on what was already happening in our area, not just dream up some new projects to spend some government money on. For the second meeting, we put all those projects up on a whiteboard, and together we graded them on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 was shovel ready or already started. 1, it's still in somebody's mind or on a piece of paper. Then we broke into groups. And out of the mishmash came 3 things that we took forward. I call it a mishmash, but this is where the magic started. As the conversations developed, people actually started sharing commercial in confidence information about the projects that they were involved in. They could see the bigger picture and how the various sectors and projects could fit together to make a greater whole. That's when I knew we were onto something. The 3 pathways we chose were AgTech. The second one we called Connections. It's about how our supply chains connect with the rest of the world. Are there blockages? Where could efficiencies be realised? Number 3 is about strengthening economic resilience by building our regional human capacity and social capital. All these build on existing projects and initiatives, but they become much more powerful with the leverage of other projects. Between that meeting and the 3rd and 4th meetings, each group collaborated on ideas and slowly started to build the business cases. The groups came back together at those meetings for a powwow and to share their progress. So we finished up with a whole lot of whiteboards that looked like this. So what's the outcome so far? Bear in mind that the project business cases have been to government, but nothing has come back yet. But there are valuable outcomes even at this stage. I can almost guarantee that your council or regional economic office is not aware of all that is happening in your area. Sometimes these projects take a bit of ferreting out, partly because of that commercial in confidence thing I was talking about earlier. Our stakeholders identified what was happening in our area and how each sector or project could participate in 2 ways, either by adding to other projects or benefiting from them. Some of those stakeholders would never be in a room together, normally. This created linkages and connections that will last. And I don't have to say anything more about the value of connections in a social capital sense. Of course, it's necessary to do a bit of critical evaluation as well. What went well? Identifying stakeholders to participate in the project. I felt it was important to go beyond what I called the usual suspects, of which I am one. The volunteers' commitment in time. Almost by definition, the people that are going to participate in a project or a process like this are going to be busy people. The amount of time and effort and energy that was given by the volunteers was truly commendable. Kudos too to Andrew Chamberlain from the Clean Growth Choices team. Somehow, Andrew was able to take all of those whiteboard scribblings and turn them into business cases. Lastly, the sharing of knowledge. So many people expressed how wonderful it was to be able to share knowledge with others from completely different sectors. As I said, people who would not normally ever be in the room together. What could have been better? There was one major project happening in the area that was not included. That was the future of the Emerald Ag College. The state government was going through a separate process for that, which was a shame because I felt that it could have been a potential pivotal project. Some stakeholders were missed. We do recognise that the original invitations went out rather hurriedly, and I believe that some stakeholders who could really have contributed to the process were missed. Another thing that could have been better was some of the initial attitudes. At the very beginning, when the Clean Growth Choices program was being pitched to councils, some of the councils were put off a bit by the attitude of some of the presenters. One of them said, "We are here to help and to teach you to innovate." That didn't go down so well. So where have I been? I introduced the project, I've described the process, and I've shared what I felt were the valuable outcomes to date. From what I've learned, I want to issue a few challenges here at this National Sustainability Conference. And this goes double, triple, quadruple in the light of this pandemic that we're living through. No more silos. Connect the dots. Use the resources. Find and exploit the synergies. Capital is going to be both scarce and plentiful now. Scarce in that if a project doesn't have a growth focus, it's not going anywhere. Plentiful in that there's going to be infrastructure spending to follow. What we need to do is ensure that that spending goes to projects that will help to build regional resilience, to build regional sustainability. Communications and clean energy infrastructure spring easily to mind, not just more roads and bridges. My parting thought is that a whole bunch of people just realised that they don't have to live in a densely populated city to work. This is an opportunity for regional Australia to build resilience and build sustainability. So, regional Australia, step up and look for the magic.